setup. Don't go anywhere. I'm gonna be sharing lots of good information on how to buy a house with zero down. Yes, you heard it right. How to buy a house even if your credit is less than perfect. Okay, you don't need to have an excellent credit in order to buy a house as a first-time home buyer. As a matter of fact, with a 580 FICO, that gets you into a property as a first-time home buyer, believe it or not. Okay, so we are ready to go. Hi, that's me again. My name is Jerry Torres. I'm with Vision One Mortgage. I am a direct lender, and we're gonna be diving into how to buy a house the right way. So let's go into this. So this webinar is for you if number one, you're looking to buy or refinance a house today or in the near future and you don't know where to start. Number two, this webinar is for you if you want to buy a house and you don't think you have enough money to do so. Again, I'm going to show you how to buy a house with zero down and stay tuned. And I would even show you how you can finance the majority of the closing costs through a very sexy California program that is available and which we still have millions of dollars of funds. So stay tuned. And number three, this webinar is for you if you want to buy a house and you don't think you can do so because your credit is less than perfect. Bad things happen to good people. And believe it or not, credit is the easiest thing to fix. So stay tuned and I'm going to show you how we can quickly build your credit in less than 30 days. Again, today we're going to be discovering number one, how to buy a house with zero down, how to finance the closing costs, how to buy a house even if you don't have a legal status in this country, and how to receive a non-payable gift for the down payment. There are people in some professions that they can receive free money from the state of California. Stay tuned and I'm going to show you again how to do that. And if you stick with me for 30 minutes or less, at the end of the webinar, I'm going to show you how you can claim a free $25 Home Depot card. So you can start thinking about the repairs you're going to be doing to your house. Okay, I will be teaching you as much as I can in the limited time that we have together. But at the end of the webinar, I'm going to show you how you can book a free, no obligation 30-minute consultation so that if you have any specific questions regarding your situation, we can answer those on a private environment. I mean, this webinar is going live to many Facebook pages, and I don't like to discuss any private information on social media. Okay, again, my name is Jerry Torres. I am with Vision One Mortgage. I've been in real estate for over 17 years. I started my career as a real estate agent, working with Century 21 Excellence in the city of Norwalk. And then, due to coaching, mentoring, and training, I quickly became the number one agent in Century 21. After so many years and due to restructuring in the industry, I had to make a decision because back in the days, you could do both real estate and loans. But then after the mortgage meltdown of 2008, I had to make a decision and I decided to stay just originating loans because that's what I love to do. I've also done investments in the past. I have experience flipping properties. I've coached people how to flip properties. So, I mean, I don't know at all in real estate. It's impossible to say that, but my knowledge it's pretty big. Thank God. Okay, moving on. I love educating. I started having seminars and I quickly learned that because of technology and how everything is evolving in social media, I can impact more people. And that's why I'm having this live webinar every other week. Okay, so being a homeowner obviously has its perks. It has many benefits. Number one, it's equity. As a homeowner, the longer you stay in the property, the more equity you start building as property goes up. So what's happening in the market? Inventory has increased just a little bit, which is good news for the homeowners, for the home buyers, because they're gonna have more options when it comes to finding the right property. Okay. Number two, as properties go up, it is being projected that properties will continue going up at a rate of approximately 4.7%. So when you buy a house and the properties keep going up, you are building equity. The good news is that a lot of that equity, you don't have to pay a penny to the IRS, depending. Okay, the disclosure is it has to be owner occupied because there is an exception. You could accumulate up to $500,000 in equity, sell the property, and don't have to pay anything if it's owner occupied. You have lived in the property 2 out of 5 years, and you are legally married. Now, if you're single, half 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 of the power to you. $250,000, you don't have to pay anything. So, any questions that you might have regarding tax and legal, my advice is for you to always double check with your attorney or CPA before implementing any strategies that I'm going to be discussing here because I am qualified to originate loans, not to give you tax or legal advice. Now, tax benefits. What other benefits can you enjoy as a homeowner? Interest deduction. You can deduct depending on your bracket, your income, your specific circumstance, up to $750,000 in mortgage interest. So that can potentially help you pay lower taxes when the time comes that you need to file your income tax return. And if you're an investor, you can again, the income that the interest can help you pay less, and you can enjoy the deductions. Okay, like any repairs that you put on the property, if it's an investment, you can write it off. It can help you increase your cost basis, and at the end of the day, when you sell the property, you will be paying less in tax. Okay, now 90% of the people, the wealthy people in the United States, they hold real estate, whether it's a house that they own, a mansion, a property, a shoebox, a shack, it doesn't matter. If it's real estate, 90% of the people in the United States hold real estate holdings. Why? Because it could be a really good investment. Would you agree? Moving on. A lot of people don't know, they want to buy, but they just don't know where to start. Do I qualify for a mortgage? What are the banks looking into borrowers that are considering buying? Can I buy a house if my credit is less than perfect? That's why we're here today, to discuss some of the ways, the more effective and efficient way that you can become a homeowner so that you can do it as quickly as possible. So who are the players in the home buying process? The most important party is you, right? You, the person that makes the decision that you want to stop throwing your money away by paying rent. You want to start building a legacy for your kids, and you make the decision that you want to buy. So after you have made the decision, you need to talk to a loan officer because you need to know exactly how much you qualify for, how much your new monthly payment will be. And once I have you fully approved, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be handing a pre-approval letter to a qualified real estate professional. And that person's job is going to be, you're going to be joining forces with the realtor to find the property that fits your need. Okay. Now, your realtor is going to take you out to see properties. He or she is going to start writing offers. Once you have an offer approved, then we're going to be opening title and escrow. Whose title and whose escrow? Title, it's a company that is going to ensure the ownership of the property belongs to the seller, right? So that you don't get scammed. And escrow, it's a neutral third party whose job is to make sure that all of the terms and conditions on the offer are carried according to the law. Now, once we open escrow, your realtor is going to contact a home inspection company because you want to make sure that you're buying a property in good condition. The worst thing you want to do is move into a house and then you have a leaky roof or you don't have enough water pressure, right? So all of those minor details, a home inspector could locate, could detect them so that you avoid any pitfall. Now, what happens if the property needs work in the middle of escrow? Well, that's why you want to have a real estate agent. A real estate agent's job is to negotiate either a credit, repairs, or some sort of a win-win situation. Okay. Now, on my side, as your loan officer, one of the first parties I'm going to be contacting once we have an offer accepted is the appraiser. The appraiser's job is to make sure that the value of the property is there, that you're not buying a property that is not worth what the listing price it will be. Okay, there are different types of programs depending on your situation. If you want to buy a house that is over $726,000 in the LA County, Orange County, then you're going to need a jumbo loan. Okay, jumbo loans are not first-time home buyer loans. Okay, Um, the good news is that, through Vision One, we can originate one jumbo loan, which is with a minimum 5% down, we can get you into a luxury house if that's the case. Up to $5 million, no problem. Now, if you're buying a property as a first-time home buyer, then there are very different types of loan programs that can help you with that. For example, FHA, the Federal Housing Administration, has been working after the depression of the 1930s, making home affordable to people that want to buy. Okay. Now, with the FHA, you can buy a property and they'll lend you up to 96 and a half. And the rest you have to put it in the form of a down payment. Now, can you buy a house with zero down? Yes. Stay tuned. On my next slide, I'm going to show you just how to do that. Now, if you have 20% down, then I would probably suggest that you get a conventional loan. Why? Because you're not going to pay mortgage insurance, that's one. And usually the interest rate when you're putting 20% down and you have a great FICO, it's going to be less than if you're buying the property as a first-time home buyer. Okay. Now, if you have served this country and you are a veteran, you can buy a property with zero down as well by a government guaranteed loan through that is called the VA. Again, you don't pay mortgage insurance, and usually the closing cost is lower than the FHA or other types of programs. Okay, I keep saying mortgage insurance, mortgage insurance. What is that? It's an insurance that protects the lender. It doesn't protect the borrower. And a lot of people get, a little bit discouraged. I don't want to be paying mortgage insurance. Well, how can you eliminate mortgage insurance? Number one, give 20% down. If you don't have 20% down, you're going to pay it anyways. But who cares if the properties continue going up? Who cares about mortgage insurance if you can enjoy the tax benefits, appreciation, and you're building a legacy for your family? That's just food for thought. Okay, no. So now, what is a reverse mortgage? A reverse mortgage is for people that are 62 years old and above, and they need to supplement their income because probably retirement income is not enough. Well, if you are in that position where you have a property with equity, you can apply for a mortgage, for a reverse mortgage, and the bank will give you money rather than you giving money to the bank. Okay. So now, talk to us about any of these loan programs. And if you have any questions, feel free to book a private consultation with our team, and we can address any questions that you might have. Okay, now, can you buy a house if you are pressed on cash? And the answer is yes. There is a really attractive program offered by the state of California, by the California Housing Finance Agency. We call it the CalHFA. With that program, you can get into a property without having to come up with the down payment out of pocket. We call it the zero down. So now, how does that work? Number one, you're going to be receiving, if you qualify, you're going to be receiving up to 3 loans. That's up to you. The first loan is going to be for 96 and a half, okay, 96.5%. That is a typical FHA loan, a typical first-time home buyer loan, okay? It's going to be fully amortized for 30 years, okay? Then, number two, the down payment assistance comes in the form of a silent second. So you're going to be receiving, if you qualify, as a second loan, silent second, for 3.5%. So that's why we call it the zero down, because the down payment is financed, okay? It is financed, and it's only repayable when you sell or refinance the property, okay? Why do we call it silent second? Because you don't have to make monthly payments to it. I mean, you can if you want to, but you're not obligated to make monthly payments to this loan. Now, so that takes care of the acquisition and the down payment. Now, what if you need money to finance the closing costs? Again, through the CalHFA, you can apply for a third loan position. And right now, they can give you up to 3%, depending on your FICO. You have to have a 640 FICO or above, and you can receive up to 3% in the form of a silent third. And that 3% assistance can help you pay the majority of your closing costs. Very good. So technically, When you're considering buying a house, all you have to worry is about coming up with the deposit, the earnest money deposit, the appraisal, and the home inspection. How much is your earnest money deposit? Well, talk to your realtor. But just to give you an idea, it's about 1%. Okay. But talk to your agent because he or she is more qualified to answer those questions. With the Call Half a Loan program, you can buy a single family residence, condo. You cannot buy duplexes. I'm sorry. If you want a duplex, you have to give 3.5% down. Now, there is a program out there for people in special jobs, such as peace officers, sheriff, border patrols, correctional officers, or other people serving in any law enforcement capacity, firefighters, paramedics, teachers. If you work in the public district, even if you're a janitor, you don't have to be a teacher. You might be able to receive a 3.5% gift from the state of California. The program is called the Golden State Finance Authority. Free money for you to buy a house. And the good news is that this program it's not only for first-time home buyers. I mean, you could be a homeowner on a house, but as long as you intend to move into a bigger and better property, you might be able to receive. And you have to occupy the property. Those are the conditions. It has to be bigger and better, and it has to be owner occupied. Okay, so this grant, this money can be combined with FHA, VA, conventional. So the possibilities are endless. Moving on. So now, getting started. A lot of people don't know where to start. Okay, do I even qualify for a mortgage? So when you are a home buyer, you have to know the major factors that lenders look into borrowers. A lot of people don't know this. But number one, if you want to apply for a mortgage and receive down payment assistance, you need to have a legal status in this country. What is a legal status? You have to be a resident, U.S. citizen, or have asylum, refugee, be from Cuba. Okay, so those are the people that can apply for a down payment assistance program. Now, what happens with the people that don't have a legal status? Can they still qualify to buy a property in the United States? And the answer is yes. There is programs funded by private investors, such as the ITIN program. And I have to correct this slide. There is an ITIN program that they would only ask you for 10%. 10%, you put 10% down and you can become a homeowner. You can buy a house, condo, unit, even properties that typically wouldn't qualify because of the condition. You can finance them through the ITIN program. So keep that in mind. 10% can get you into a property. Good or good? Okay, and all you need is the ITIN number or letter. You don't need to have not even an ID, matricula consular, boom, you're done. Okay, now the second factor that all lenders look into borrowers is income. Income. It has to be traceable and it has to be predictable. Back in the days in 2008, the big, meltdown was fueled by loose lending practices. Back in the day, as long as you had a pulse, you could fold a mirror, you would qualify for a mortgage. That's not the case anymore. You need to qualify. You need to have income. And some people, people that are living in areas such as San Francisco, LA County, where the average, price of the property is, a little bit higher, you can have up to six people in one application so that, everybody can help you qualify for a house. Okay. But that it is possible. Now, if you are a W-2 employee, if you're an employee, the bank is going to get, is they're going to want to see your W-2s and your 1040s, meaning your income tax return. If you have companies, you run companies, well, then they're going to want to see the K1s, Schedule E. If you are a landlord and have rental income, 1099 INT. If you're a private lender and make interest income, you can do that, 1099G. If you are fortunate in Vegas and gamble and make an income and it's predictable because you're a professional gambler, that can help you qualify for a house. Okay. Now, when it comes to income, everything helps you. Overtime, bonuses, second job, even seasonal job, retirement income, and social security. All of the income helps you. And the more income, the more you qualify for a house. Now, what if you don't want to show income tax return? I don't know why. I don't need to know why. But if you don't want to show income taxes, there is a program for you, and it's called the Bank Statement Loan Program. This loan program is designed for entrepreneurs, business owners, that they make the income, but they may be offset the tax liability by claiming deductions. I don't know. So if you're a business owner, if you show me one bank statement with the income coming in, we can potentially qualify you for a loan program where you would, where the bank is gonna finance 75% of the acquisition. Now, if you show between 12 to 24 months, then the amount of the down payment could be mitigated, could be minimized, right? And you can buy a property with as little as 10% down. Okay. Now, show me 12 months or 24 months, and then we're in business. You can buy owner occupied properties, second homes, investment properties. You can even buy a house 2 years out of foreclosure, short sale, bankruptcy, or deed in lieu. You can finance houses, single family residences, townhouses, and condos. Good or good. Up to $5 million. You heard it right. $5 million. Now, the third factor that all lenders are going to look into in borrowers, it's the credit. Three numbers are going to dictate the amount of down payment that you're going to be required to give, the interest rate, whether you can get down payment assistance, whether you can finance the closing costs. So it's very important to know, to have a good credit and to know how credit works. Many people don't know this, but 35% of your FICO is composed of your payment history. If you want to have a good credit report, pay your bills on time. Now, the other 30% is how much you owe. And the creditors refer to this as credit utilization. So if you have a credit card, your goal is to never go above 30%. If you go above 30% of the balance, that's it. Your FICO is gonna drop. So for example, $10,000 line of credit or credit card, never pay, never charge it more than $3,000. That's the key. Now, if you wanna have a great, excellent FICO, never go over 10%, and that will give you almost an 800 FICO. Okay. The other 10% is credit mix. Lenders want to see that you're responsible with different types of credit. For example, student loans, car loans, retail accounts, that you have a good credit mix. The other 10% is length of history. The older your credit is, the higher your FICO will be. Now, how can you quickly build credit if, for example, you just you're getting out of bankruptcy and you have no credit whatsoever and your credit has been damaged? How can you quickly build a credit report? Just last month, we helped a family qualify for a property and we helped them build a 700 FICO. All we did is add the husband to the wife's credit line. That was it. Within 30 days, he had a good FICO score. Right? Now, sadly for me, then he said, I'm going to go buy a car. But I mean, that's up to him, right? But I did my job. I helped them build the credit. And possibly one of the quickest ways to do that is to, again, as I said before, as someone that has established credit, add you to their credit lines or apply for a secure credit card, and that will help you increase your FICO as quickly as 30 days or less. Okay, moving on. So now, what if your credit is less than perfect? Again, you have a 580 FICO, you can still qualify as a first-time home buyer. That is FHA. But if you have a 550, you can still buy a house. The catch is you have to be ready to give 10% down. That is the little catch. But can you buy a house even if your FICO is as low as 550? The answer is yes. So now, many people don't want to buy because they have fears. And my job is to debunk those fears. One of the fears is, Jerry, yes, I like to buy a house, but what if I lose my job? What's going to happen to my house? Okay. So the good news is that if you lose your job, the bank cannot repossess the property. They have to go through certain protocols. They can do so after 6 months. So the foreclosure process can take up to 6 months. So now, you have 6 months to put your game together, to apply for a loan modification, to reinstate the loan, to hit the jackpot. Okay, so you have options. But if you are renting and you don't have the money to pay your rent, what's going to happen? The landlord is going to give you 3 days to pay or quit. And if you haven't paid within 3 days, they're going to file the 30-day notice. And if you don't pay them right away, guess what? They're going to start the eviction process. I never endorse people going through the eviction process. Number one, because they're going to report it in the credit report. And that's going to affect you for up to 7 to 10 years. And you don't want that. Okay. So it's always good to be a homeowner and have a financial hardship than being a tenant. And if you have equity in the property, you can even get a hard money loan as a second, as long as you have enough equity to do so. But you have options, you have possibilities. Another fear is, I don't know if I know how to, I don't like fixing stuff. Me neither. One way that you can overcome that is by obtaining a home warranty when you close escrow. Many people say, Jerry, the payment is too high. And maybe at the beginning, it takes a couple of months, to get used to a higher payment. But the good news is that payment, if you're buying with a 30-year fix, it will never go up in 30 years. Now, do rents go up? Hmm? Some landlords, they like to increase the rent every year. When you buy a house, you don't have to worry about that. Very good. Okay, so now, if you're tired of people telling you how to live your life, if you're tired of having a landlord not letting you even hang whatever frames you want to hang or telling you not to paint the walls, if you're tired of living in a small space and you need space to spring your wings, if you're tired of your rent going up, then it might be a good time to buy a house. If you like the space for your kids to enjoy the backyard, if you like entertaining, swimming in the pool right now is getting really hot, and if you love barbecuing, then buy a house. Stop renting and start building a legacy for your kids. Now, if you have any questions regarding the homebuyer process, my team and I were here to help you. Go to jerrytorres.pro/calendar and book either a phone consult or a live appointment with us. And we're here to answer any questions you may have. And if you apply for a mortgage with us and you don't qualify immediately, we never like to use the word you don't qualify, you're declined. Okay. We like to give you a plan of action so that you can implement it and buy a house as quickly as possible. And for the first 5 people that book an appointment, they're going to receive a $25 Home Depot card. So, with that being said, I would like to thank you for staying around. And who you work truly matters. Our job is not to sell you anything, our job is to educate, to give you a plan so that you can become a homeowner as quickly as possible. And even if it takes you 2 years because you need to report more income, we're here to help you. This is Jerry Torres again, and it was a pleasure being with you for another week. Bye bye.